towards the end, and that wasn't really the bulk of what he did. So even though the question is, what is the biblical view of salvation? Instead, what he wanted to answer is, what is the truth about Vocab Malone? That's really what his presentation was, even though it really wasn't truth. In the beginning, he keeps on making a mistake. Even though he said he did careful research, he keeps on calling us apologia. It's apologetics. Apologetics is the art and science of defending the Christian faith. And apologists are people who practice this. Apologists practice apologetics. Apologia is a radio and TV show I was on once. That's their name. And let me mention about apology, in fact, which is not what we're talking about when we talk about apologetics. Apologia is the name of a TV show, which comes out of 1 Peter 3:15. He mentioned how Peter opposed these folks, and said how apologetics was a later enterprise. Ironically, Peter is the one who mentions apologetics in 1 Peter 3:15. Sanctify the Lord God in your hearts. Be ready always to give an answer. If you stop and look up the Greek there, it says apologia. So Peter opposed something he was writing about, I guess. Then we're going to jump over, and they said we didn't attack the white Jews. Well, speaking of apologia, there's a guy in apologia named Jeff Durbin. I've done multiple shows with Jeff Durbin on proving Christ is Messiah from Isaiah 53. Not only that, we got a guy in SOG that you guys haven't met yet named Nissan Cran that I work with, and he does these things out in Phoenix called Isaiah 53 tables. Not only that, but I got my boy Tony Ray in SOG from Hazakim, and all they do is apologetics and on Messianic tick to Hebrews, and they even go to Jerusalem and do this. Not only that, I've worked with Michael Brown, who's one of the biggest guys in this field, answering Jewish objections to Jesus. I work with Jews for Jesus, Chose the People Ministries, and also Jewish Voice Ministries. So the idea of attacking white Jews, and even the phraseology of white Jews is silly, because not all Jews look like Woody Harrelson. I'm sorry, Woody Allen, wrong Woody. They don't all look like Woody Allen, and so saying white Jews doesn't make sense, because what about the Mizraim? What about the folks in Yemen? Those aren't white Jews. What about the Ethiopians? Those aren't white Jews. We still would do apologetics to them as well. And then there's just simple facts of mistakes of historical. This is the last one I'll drop. Occam, he said he was an early church father. Occam died in 1347. The early church period is set to end around 500. Occam was not an early church father. All right, LeBron, go ahead.
2 minutes.
Right. And then
Okay, my brothers and sisters, you heard it with your own ears and eyes. This is the hypocrisy, but this is vocab and shield squad. Well, let me correct myself. This is shield squad being hypocrites. Vocab is their leader. So Real said it himself. I saw it in the video, heard it with my own eyes. They can allow vocab to call himself Christian apologetics or apologetic Christians, however they want to put it, but they can't. But they condemn and ridicule the Negroes from calling themselves Hebrew Israelites. Now you can find the word Hebrew and you can find the word Israelite in the Bible. Now when you look at apologetics of what he was talking about in 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 15, in the 1611 Bible in English, you don't see the word apologetics, but you had to go to the Greek lexicon to get the word. Do you see the hypocrisy they are showing, and coming at the Hebrew Israelites as far as criticizing us and saying, well, Hebrew Israelite is not a word together in the Bible. But Christian apologetics is not a word put together in the Bible. But both of us can provide the evidence to show why we call ourselves whatever you want to call yourself. Now, the difference is between us and Shield Squad. Well, the difference between us and Vocab Malone is that when we call ourselves Hebrew Israelites, we're talking about a nationality. We're talking about a race, our race identity. See, when you understand the history of what the Europeans did to the Negroes in the Americas, Canada, North America, South America, Mexico, and the islands, and the land of Africa, and the land of Africa does include Israel. When you know that history, then you begin to understand why vocab is coming out. Because he don't believe that the Negroes are the children of Israel. He don't believe that. So that's what his true agenda is. It's not about the gospel. It's about stopping the awakening. But what he don't understand, YHWH has ordained this. Now YHWH prophets and prophetess are speaking this, letting his people know who they truly are. For the Europeans have spread their lies long enough, and now our Father in heaven is cleaning up the lies. So, Hebrew Israelites, beware of the hypocrites, because the same one they are criticizing, they are worse as the ones they are criticizing. And one more thing I want to say. Not all Hebrew Israelites are the same. Just like in ancient days, there were different sects, such as Nazarenes, Ebionites, Sadducees, Pharisees, Essenes, etc., and also Sicarii. Just like back then, it's the same today. There's different sects. Not all Hebrew Israelites are the same. Hebrew Israelite is our nationality. It's our race identity. Now, as far as our way of life is based on the covenant we made with YHWH. Okay? So our way of life is going to match up to the Bible now. So I know Shield Squad members going to listen to this because I already warned them and I told them to move on. But this is a message to my Hebrew Israelites, brothers and sisters, to show you how they are being hypocrites and to show you their true agenda. But little do they know, all of this is ordained by the Most High himself. And he have his prophets and his prophetess speaking now today. But Shield Squad have no prophets and prophetess. Nor were they called by him, nor were they ordained by him. And not all Hebrew Israelites believe in what this group of men, in this video that you'll go to, the Hebrew Israelites that he's talking to, they don't represent us. See, there are Hebrew Israelites who do believe that salvation can be offered to the Jews. Can be offered to the Gentiles. We do believe they are grafted in. See, a lot of people don't understand what salvation is. When you understand what is salvation, which is this, salvation of YHWH. Who is the salvation of YHWH? When you understand that mystery, then you understand what salvation is. Okay, that's all I want to say. I just want to get that out. All right, my brothers and sisters, continue to preach the gospel that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10 and baptize the people in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. And Israelites and Gentiles, remember, not all Hebrew Israelites are the same. Use what 1 John chapter 4 wrote unto you. We have to learn how to listen to the heart. In other words, listen to the spirit. See what spirit is joined unto that person. Either they're going to have the spirit of Yah or they're going to have the spirit of Satan. All right. Shalom.